I really, really believe in Bitcoin, and what we're seeing now, there is something interesting going on. Our dollar is in big, big trouble. And President Trump knows this. This falls into kind of the tariffs talk. Have you heard about stable coins?
No.
Okay. Do you mind if I just give you a little?
Go ahead, sure.
Our monetary system, it really started after World War II, 1944. We were nearing the end of the war. D-Day was coming, or maybe it just happened. We're getting pretty close. And Europe in particular was very worried that after the war, they would fall into the same Great Depression that happened after World War I when we had the Great Depression. So they brought in all the economists and all the money. People got on the Queen Mary and went to the States to Bretton Woods. You've heard of Bretton Woods probably.
No.
The Bretton Woods system? Okay. So Bretton Woods is just this resort. They all got together and they decided that they would have a new monetary system for the entire world. I'm not an economist, but I've looked at this long enough to understand it. And when they came out after 2 weeks, they said, okay, we're going to have this thing called the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and they're going to manage the interest rates, or they manage the currency exchange between all the individual countries with the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency. So we became the money of the world, and we back it by gold. And the idea was $1 could always be exchanged for 35 ounces of gold. And, you know, when you're the reserve currency, everyone has to have the dollar. So everybody wanted our dollar. What did we do? We signed the Marshall Plan. We sent tens, just billions of dollars over. All our companies went into Europe, started building factories, and so the dollar kept going in. All these other currencies kind of came a little bit weaker because we were so strong with our money. And then people got a little worried about the dollar. They looked around and went like, "Hey, do you guys have the gold to back that up in Fort Knox?" Of course we didn't, because we just kept printing money and sending it over. And then you get into this thing called the Triffin dilemma. And that means that when you are the reserve currency, your currency is basically overvalued and you can't export anything. And that's exactly, I'm skipping over a lot, but that's where we are today. Our products are too expensive to ship to China and sell in China because of the value of our dollar. This is why President Trump is saying, hey, all our money is flowing out towards you. We need to get some of that back, so we're going to raise tariffs. I think it's a short-term solution. So I think two things will happen. One is we have this sovereign wealth fund, which you've heard him talk about, the sovereign wealth fund. Mm-hmm. So in that will be the value of our public land that the government owns and all kinds of other things. It'll be valued at this astronomical amount. And in that will also be the strategic Bitcoin reserve that the president promised. Now we get stable coins. This is a crazy, crazy thing that's happened. There's this. So a stable coin is a digital dollar. It's pegged to the dollar, so it's always a dollar. And you can pay with this through the internet, through apps and everything. It's already being used all over the world. The only reason it's worth $1 is because the stable coin company that creates it, they have debt and paper to back it up. So they buy America's debt. They get treasury bonds or T-bills, which actually pays a dividend, so you get interest on that. And for each dollar they have bought in treasuries, they can create a stable coin. So if you look at the company Tether, they have bought more of the United States debt than most countries. They have $160 billion worth of U.S. debt. And for each of those dollars, they've created a stable coin, which now people can use all over the world transacting.
Whoa.
And what's their business? There's like 50 people in the company. So they have $160 billion at 4% interest annually. They're making bank just for holding this debt. So I think President Trump is very smart, and he's seen that we can flood the world with our stable coin, and you kind of get a 2-for-1. So you create $1 of debt, but then you create another dollar on top that can be used all over the world as the reserve currency, and that should probably result in, I don't know, the Mar-a-Lago Accord or some new monetary system that we're going to have to come up with to really have our dollar be valued properly, but also still remain the reserve currency and remain the strong export country that we need to be. Because, what do? We don't make anything that we sell abroad. We can't all be, serving each other burgers and fries and washing each other's cars and cleaning each other's homes. We have to build something. And all of that went overseas. Everything we got, all of the stuff on this table. This, it didn't come out of his butt. This is from China. Although, I don't know. So there's something big coming, really big. And it has to happen. And Trump is a very meta guy. People misunderstand. He's going to refi the country. That's what he's a real estate guy. He's going to figure out a way to refi it, and it'll be digital. And a lot of the Bitcoiners don't like this because they like Bitcoin to be the money that the whole world uses. That may one day happen, but now it's more like the digital gold. You can keep your value in it. And, I can send $1 billion. If I had it, I could send $1 billion to another country, to another person in 10 minutes, and, no one can stop me. So it's a very useful tool, but it hasn't quite turned out to be money or currency the way it was originally intended. But it's going to be a very important part of it. I think you'll see Bitcoin be a part of that strategic reserve. It's easier than sending gold, than, I'm going to ship you $1 billion worth of gold. I need, armored cars, I need dudes, everything, security and ships and whatever. So it'll be a part of it, and you'll still be able to use it between people. But it looks to me like stablecoin, Tether in particular, is going to be the future of the U.S. dollar payments. And this is where a lot of people on the right, certainly, are very afraid of control grid, because a stable coin is not necessarily like Bitcoin. You can stop it, you can control it, you can see who sent what to whom. There's a lot of fear about this.